Welcome to Bradley Central High School and The Buzz 101.3 interview this week brought to you by Cleveland Collision Center at 2901 Water Level Highway. Season for all your automotive repairs. Check them out online at www.clevelandcollision.com. Being joined again this week, as we have all season long, by head coach Damon Floyd of the Bradley Central Bears, who are standing right now at 4-1 in overall, 1-0 in the region play, or 2-0 in region play. 2-0, 1-0. 1-0. Okay, that's right.
2-0.
2-0, yeah, we played two. Yeah. Heritage and Oodwall, our 2 wins. Sorry about that. And speaking of Oodwall, big win on the road down there. We don't normally play as well there as we would at home, but anytime you can go to Oodwall and come away, and it was really close for a while, and then we broke it open, and it was a runaway then from that point on.
Yeah, you said it, but when we played Oodwall, it's always been tough there in the past, and it was there at the beginning. And you got to give Oodwall credit. They game planned us pretty well when they were on offense, we're on defense, and we had some injuries where a couple guys went down, and we got pretty deep in our depth chart there real quick. And actually, the second half, we ended up changing totally different defenses than what we had been. We've never worked on it, but with the people that we had available, we just had to make it work for the second half, and actually played really well. We really didn't blitz. We didn't do anything. We stayed in one front, one coverage, and just played. And
the vanilla defense type,
Yeah, you're very vanilla, and because we had different people in different spots that hadn't been practicing, it was just a matter of trying to get the best 11 at that point on the field. So our guys did a good job of adjusting and listening to us, and then they went out and executed. And of course, our offense, when you got that much pressure, if you're Oodwall and they're just we keep scoring, then it kind of got them out of their game plan as well.
Well, the turning point of the game had to be late in the second quarter in the first half there. It's 21 all our score. We're driving. We're not in the red zone yet. We're about 35 yards or so out. Javen rolls out to pass, and he gets blindsided in the back, and the ball falls to the ground. And here's Ricky McClary, picks it up and runs for a touchdown. And that was huge. But then the ensuing kickoff, they fumble it.
Yeah.
And it looked like Javen had scored again, but they had a penalty. It brought it back, so he just stepped back and, we'll go even further, and threw that Hail Mary pass to Ken Hall, the last play of the half. So we're up by 2 touchdowns, and it was pretty much lights out, you would think, because we were at such a high. Oodwall had to be devastated by giving up 2 late touchdowns like that in the half.
Yeah, I definitely think it changed the momentum. That's good coaching, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We fumble, we pick it up and score, and then Javen scores again. And you got to give our kids a lot of credit. And that's the game, man. Players make plays, and our kids were making plays. And, you don't ever want to fumble the ball, but we've had 2 this year where we've picked it up and scored touchdowns.
Yes.
So I think it's the credit of just our athleticism, honestly, and our kids' credit that, they keep competing, and then when they get the ball in our hands, then all of our guys feel like they can score when they get a chance to touch it. So, we've been on the other side of that for many years before in the past, in many different games, and we've had some go away, some not. So I was happy to see, we fumble, but we pick it up and score, because it's happened to us against us as well. So we're not going to complain about it. And just like I said, I do think our kids just keep competing, and they're just out there playing, having fun, and it seems like good things are happening.
Well, sure are. And speaking of turnovers, we've only had 4, all in the first game of the year.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. And we've taken away 12 times. So anytime you can do that, it's always a big plus. That's a +8 for us in the Bear defense there. You're just talking about scoring like that, but good coaching, I'm going to brag on you and your staff, good coaching prepares for opportunities when they're handed to you to take advantage of it, and good teams will take advantage anytime they're given that opportunity. So they fumble, yeah, we recovered, yes, we scored, but it's got to be something that you prepare yourself to do there. Ken Hall and Javen Burke was named our Players of the Week on the radio broadcast. Hall had 9 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Burke was 16 of 23, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns passing, 2 rushing. We're averaging better than 50 points per game and better than 475 yards per game on offense. Did you have any idea at the beginning of the season, boy, this offense could be this explosive? I mean, did it just develop, or are you just hoping it would be? Or
I think
Matt Moody's your OC.
Yeah, every year you go in, you think you had a chance to be good, obviously, but we knew we had some special talent, and we had a lot of guys that could make plays. Did we know it was going to be this good this early? Probably not, if I was being honest. But and that's the thing. You got so many guys that when they touch the ball, they have a chance to take it to the house. They have a lot of speed. And the good thing is that we've been executing. I think the thing that is left out is, Javen's been standing back there with a lot of time. Our offensive line does not get enough credit. And I got to give CJ Deals an apology, because I said Kobe
Okay.
last time on our interview. So
He lets you know about it, huh?
Yes. But you know, our offensive line deserves a lot of credit as well. I mean,
Yes,
our Javen and Cannon and Trey and Saylor and Ashton and Javon and Ricky and Riley and all those guys deserve a lot of credit because they're doing a lot of good things. But it's really a total team effort. One thing I'm proud about is our guys have been so unselfish.
Yeah, absolutely.
One guy scores, the other 10 are just as happy. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's funny you see Javen on the sidelines. You don't really notice it until you watch film, but Javon will do something on defense. For example, Bearden, he picks up a fumble, runs it for a touchdown. Javen's more excited than anybody. Now, obviously, that's his brother. But,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's just awesome that the guys are really happy for their teammates when they have success. And, you know, ultimate thing is, do you win the game? And our guys have been playing good enough to go on a little 4-game stretch anyway. So, happy with our execution. Matt Moody does deserve a lot of credit, and our other offensive coaches. They got to put them in position to be successful, and that's what you want to do as a coach is put them in the right position, and Matt Moody's done that.
A weapon we've not had in several years, I would guess, too, is the tight end Carter Howard. Just a sophomore, big old burly guy, not a speed demon like the other guys, but he comes open on that slant pattern across the middle quite often, and they don't seem to see him or pick him up. He's had 4 or 5 catches this year, and he can run the ball once he catches it. So.
Yeah, he's huge for us. Not only for, you know, people don't realize how good of hands he has. Of course, he's a basketball player, so he's used to catching the ball. But, you know, when you put a tight end in the game, it changes everything defensively. Especially we see so many 3-4 defenses now, 3-man fronts, and it kind of changes your gaps. So you better be gap sound when you go against a tight end because it does change up a little bit. So he's helped us a lot. You know, being able to put a tight end in, and then he's out. And then, you know, Maryville did it for us for years. They always had a guy that you put in, put out, and we're over on the sidelines wondering, you know, what personnel's in the game because it kind of changes what you got to call and how you line up.
Well, Trey Curry, again, looked mighty good in the backfield, especially when he's connected with Cannon Hall on a 37-yard pass, halfback pass. Is there anything, he's averaged 20 yards per reception. He gets double-teamed all the time, obviously, and I'd double-team him too if I were opposing him. Cannon Hall's got 18 receptions. He leads the team, 362 yards, 5 touchdowns. Curry's averaged 12 yards per carry, 20 yards per reception. That's an average of a first down every time he touches the ball. Yeah. Is there anything this guy can't do? I mean, he's also a great basketball player.
Now that you say that, we might need a backup kicker. We probably need to let him try to kick. He can probably do that too. But yeah, I mean, he's just so talented.
He
so
is.
Talented, and
the whole family is.
He's got very good genes. His mom was a good athlete. Obviously, his dad was a good athlete. His uncle Dante was a good athlete. So, but Trey does it all, and that's the good thing is he's willing to do whatever, you know, if it's out of the backfield or if it's receiver, he don't mind as long as he's getting the ball in his hands, and obviously the kind of production that he's having, we still got to get it to him in a variety of ways. But yeah, a lot of people are doubling him at different times, and we got to figure out, you know, that kind of stuff which we've talked about before. But it's easier a lot of times just to put him in the backfield and give him the ball.
Well, we like all the touches he can get there, and I know you do too. Let's take a break right now. We'll come back and look at this game. Here we're playing somebody called Cleveland High School. We'll talk about that when we return here on The Buzz 101.3, where games are supplied to you by Wholesale Supply Group. Our players' interview brought to you by Cleveland Collision Center. Back in a moment. Okay, Coach, we're back with our second half interview. We're going to talk about our upcoming game with Cleveland High School. You've said this numerous times. Anytime I ask you about a game, it's the most important game because it's the next game. Well, our next game is the most important. This week we host Cleveland. It's our biggest rival by far. It's important because it's the next game. It's a home game. It is senior night. It is a region game. There is so much riding on this game, and we're unbeaten in the region, 2-0. We're trying to stay with a shot for the region title. Cleveland's already lost a game. The pressure is really more so on them to win this game than maybe than it is on us because we control our own fate right now. Cleveland's trying to control their own fate. Just so much riding on this game, and I don't know how it can be built up any more than it already is just because it's a Bradley Cleveland game.
Yeah, and all that stuff that you mentioned, it does matter. And but once you kick off, you don't think about that stuff. You know, I've said it for years and years and years. Cleveland week is different than any other week that we go through. And, you know, the thing about it is we've been dealing with it, and they have too. They had an off week last week, so we've been dealing with it for 2 weeks. You know, so it's a fun time. It's a tiring time. You know, I mean, a lot of extracurricular activities obviously going on the week of Cleveland, so it is different in that regard. But like you mentioned, every game's important. I'm not going to say it's just like any game because it's not. It's Bradley Cleveland. It's different. But obviously there's a lot of implications on this game of who wins and who loses.
Well, and you never got to play in a Bradley Cleveland game because that was during a period we weren't playing each other. As the head coach now, you played in the alumni game a few years back, a couple of those, but as the head coach now, do you feel any different emotions or any pressure or anything as opposed to playing Bearden or somebody like that? You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Silly question.
It's not even close. I mean, like I said, it's Cleveland, and, you know, there's a lot of pride that's on the line, and probably jobs on the line, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, you know, so if we're honest about it, but yeah, I mean, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's stressful. It's stressful. I mean, every week, you know, if you, like you said, if you're playing Bearden, you're worried about, you know, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. Cleveland, you're the same way, but you're probably, you know, crossing 10 T's and 10 I's. Like, I mean, it's just.
We all
different.
are, you know.
Yeah, it's different. You want to make sure that, I want to make sure, and my coach Steph wants to make sure that we've done everything we can to make sure our kids have a chance to be successful. So I don't want to hear about it, you know, in January, February, March, April, May, June,
Right.
July. So I guess if you want to hear about it, you want to hear good things.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
there's a lot of pride on the line, but it's a fun time, and we're excited to be able to play in this kind of atmosphere.
Well, I think this is your 5th head coach, and you're 14 years at Bradley. It's the 5th head coach that Cleveland's had, 4th or 5th. Do you see any major changes in what they're trying to do versus what they tried to do in the past in their program at this point?
Yes, I mean, you know, Brandon Harmon's their defensive coordinator, and he does a really good job. They're the same defense as they were last year. Offensively, they're different than they've been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a hybrid offense, I guess you could say. It's spread.
Who concerns you on offense for them?
Well,
mainly?
first, Deuce Flowers.
Yeah, Deuce Flowers.
He is
All-state wide receiver, folks.
Yeah, he's an incredible athlete. He's got very good hands. He's got very good ball skills. Ball's in the air, he goes up and gets it. He doesn't wait and see what's going to happen. So he can make plays from anywhere on the field. Also in their return game. But I think he's very scary. And we doubled him last year, 90% of the time, and he catches 2 touchdowns on us. So he's obviously got our attention. But they're going to try to establish the run game, and he's got the offensive line is playing a lot more intense than they were at the beginning of the year. I think
it's a big line out here, too.
Yeah, they got a big old tackle or a couple big guys that's going to block down on you. They got a fast guard that's going to pull and try to kick on you. And the running back's running really hard, and I think he's just a sophomore. So, like a typical Cleveland team, if you don't get to where you're supposed to be in a hurry and wrap up and tackle, then they're going to make things happen and move the chains and, got a chance to break a lot of long ones on you.
You mentioned a little while ago about this being an open week for us and Cleveland as well. And I know you're not a fan of open weeks. You'd rather play straight through without an open week. But I guess if you're going to have one in the middle of the year, it's not the first early in the year, it's not the end of the year, which I think you really would hate, but middle of the year, maybe if you have to have one, it's a good time to have it. But coming out of the open week, if you were playing Maryville Heritage or somebody, a lesser opponent than Cleveland, it would be tough, I would think, to get them refocused. But since you're playing Cleveland, I think it's a lot easier to get the kids refocused on the upcoming game, even though they've had a week off.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it helped us last week in our open week of knowing who the next opponent is. It's hard. You play 5 games, and you go back out and practice, especially with the way the heat's been. You go out and practice, and you don't have a game.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a little bit motivated to go out there and practice, every day. So with Cleveland being the next opponent, and you try to game plan a little bit for them on your open week, then I think our guys pay a little bit more attention to detail, and they know what's at stake here. So I guess the easy way to answer your question, Cleveland being the next opponent with 2 weeks off, it's probably a good thing.
Yep. Friday night, obviously we expect a big crowd here. It is the start of fall break. Friday's the last day of school before we take next week off. We hope the crowd comes out here. We need everybody, the Bear Nation, in here in full support, don't we?
Oh, there's no doubt. Like any game we ever play, but we know there's going to be a lot of people there. It does hurt probably that fall break, everybody's leaving town. Hopefully they'll just stay in Friday night and come catch a good game. I think it's 2 quality teams. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, and the team that makes the fewest mistakes is probably going to be the team that wins.
Well, there's a lot of activities going on here at Bradley. We're going to have a couple of live remotes Friday morning at 7 o'clock in front of Jim Smith Arena. We'll be here live 3 to 5 in front of the main gate, so folks can come by and say hi and check in with me and Dwayne, and Steve will be here with us even Friday morning. But join us on the buzz Friday on 101.3 starting at 6 o'clock for our pregame show, where we'll have our coaches interview, our player interview with Javen Burke this week. Our award-winning football panel, I got to host that this week. Mr. Hanshaw was away. And come early and come hungry, because Travis Adams have that left field Lance cranked up some of the best barbecue you've ever put in your mouth. You'll taste that Friday night if you come early enough to eat that. We're going to leave it at that, and we'd like to say thank you again, Coach Floyd. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. For now, we'll say so long, and God bless, and go Bears.